Hello.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to That's a Good Question. I am Mark Canton.
And I am not. I am Colman Hayes.
Still
Colman Hayes.
going with it. I don't know why.
Still going with the name.
Yeah.
I was reading.
It is kind of it's not quite a sentence.
I'm Colman Hayes.
No, that's a sentence. That is a sentence. My name is a sentence.
What? My name is a sentence?
Mark can tan. My name is a sentence. The dead pauses are what make this show. That's the real gift. So you get it?
Yeah, Mark can
I am a
tan.
person who is capable of tanning. Mark can tan. Colman Hayes. It's like a Colman who's in a haze. It's not quite a sentence, but the haze created by the Colman.
There's almost a sentence.
It's almost it's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm in a bit of a Colman haze at the moment. Is that good?
That's like a specific haze. That sounds like a haze of me. Not a haze of a cold man, but a haze of me specifically.
Yeah.
I'm in a Colman haze.
Yeah, I suppose you're in a Colman haze is what you're in most of the time. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my life, just like trying to
What's going
see
on?
through the fog. I'm in a Colman haze.
Sometimes it feels like, do you ever feel, this isn't my question, do you ever feel suddenly awake like, God, I'm more awake now than I normally am?
Yeah.
I don't.
Sometimes, you know, I do.
I
Sometimes,
set you up for that.
sometimes I feel like I'm asleep, and then like
most of the time. Yeah.
like really from about
There's a
nighttime to morning.
friend of
I feel like
mine
I'm asleep.
who's very smart, and I don't know, he got like 600 points in his leaving cert or something like that.
That's the test.
That's the test. But he's also can sound kind of stoned.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the time. Well, one of his great phrases. One time he popped into the conversation. Oh yeah, my dad. We were talking about hair shirts. You know that
Hair shirts.
Yeah, like monks used to wear to punish themselves, because the more you punish yourself, the more God will love you or something.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh yeah, my dad has a hair shirt. Well, not a hair shirt." And we just didn't know what the fuck that meant. I don't know. Still don't know what he meant.
Yeah. I don't even know what a hair shirt is.
It's just kind of a shirt made of hair. You wear it under your shirt, and it's just really itchy all day long.
Oh right. Okay.
Mm.
My dad's a hair shirt.
Well, not a hair shirt.
I think I know what he means.
Yeah.
He's a hairy chest.
Oh, I don't think that's what he means.
Like
but sure.
he's a hair shirt. I mean, not a hair shirt. Like he's like, I don't know, maybe. What does this guy do now?
Maybe. He works in conflict resolution.
Does he?
Yeah.
Where?
He lives in Switzerland, but in
Notoriously
Belize,
neutral country.
Belize. He's doing a project at the moment. I think it's Belize.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conflict resolution.
Yeah.
What's he like in terms? Have you ever had an argument with him?
God, no, I don't think I've ever had an argument with him.
I wonder if those people who are like good in conflict resolution and sort of like the outside world, I love to see them in their marriage flicking cigarettes with their spouse. Do you know whatever you say?
Yeah. Flipping their lid at the slightest thing. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a film. I had an idea. I have this idea for a film, Colman. I want to get it in somewhere.
Go on.
We're going to get to the questions pretty soon.
Okay.
Because that's what people want. But I think this is a really good film idea, but I'm never going to write it because I can never get it made. Okay.
What's the film?
The film is a reverse Indiana Jones. It's the native people of some country going to Britain or the US to take back the treasures that have been stolen by the museums there, and they have to figure out the clues of the bureaucracy in Britain to try and find where it's actually been hidden, and then they have to get past all the traps and the security stuff that's in the museum where the stuff is, so they can take back their treasure. That's fucking good, isn't it?
That's really good. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's good. That's good. Yeah, that's really good.
So if
Did you
you're
come up with
watching,
that from watching Indiana Jones.
I don't know why I came up with that. Don't know why. Yeah. All right, let's get to the questions.
Okay. Do
Um,
you want to go first?
Sure. My question to you this week, Coleman, is can you tell me about a time that you jumped off something? Could be a wall, or it could be a cliff, or it could be a plane, or it could be...
Tell me a time you hit rock bottom.
Yeah, or a metaphorical jump if you want.
I remember, I'll tell you what came to mind as soon as you asked that. There was, we used to live, my dad has trucks, and we used to have a yard for the trucks, like to fix them and stuff. And I remember there was, and we had a wall from the house to the yard, and we had a tank near the wall. And I remember you could jump from one to the other, but the jump was just, I don't know what age I was, maybe I was 8. The jump was just a little bit too far. It was just like, you're like, this is beyond my capability. Like, I don't have the ability to jump that far. But I remember, like,
You knew it was beyond your capability.
yeah, I was aware.
And did you find out the hard way?
Well,
Were your fears confirmed?
Well, every time I'd go to jump, my legs would do the legs wouldn't release. You know, because like you're like, it was like it's like your body was physically being
Smarter than your brain.
yeah, the body's like, no, this isn't good.
No.
No, let's do it. Let's go.
And was it peer pressure? Were you?
No. There was just
no
me.
one around.
There was just me. But it's because I always thought it looked really cool to jump from one to the other, but I couldn't do it. And I remember like, because like it's just in our backyard, so
It looked cool when other people did it, or it just looked like it would be a cool thing to do.
It looked like a cool thing to do.
Indiana Jones kind of
And
thing
I think
to do.
maybe I can't remember if this is actually true. What did you say about Indiana Jones?
It just looked like a cool Indiana Jones thing to do.
Yeah, you're just like, this looks like someone doing a cool jump. You're like, wow. Like when you're a kid, you're like, wow, a cool jump.
A cool jump. That's all a kid really wants in life.
Yeah, and maybe I saw my brother or sister, maybe I saw someone older do it, but really, because you'd just be just walking along that wall and you could fall either side. And the walk along the wall was fine, but the jump, that was, and I remember often, every time I'd walk along the wall, I'd be like, will we jump? Will we do it? Will we try and do it?
Yeah.
And every time my legs they wouldn't go. And I remember one day I did it.
And
I remember when I made it through, it felt like I broke through to the next level of consciousness, or like,
wow, we were just talking about that. Suddenly you became aware.
well, like, I remember feeling like, oh, I can. It was the first time I remember overcoming a fear, like of like, okay, that scared the shit out of me, and I did it. Like, fuck it, okay.
And you made the jump.
And I made the jump.
Yeah.
And then what's weird is once you do it once, you're like, you can do it every time. You're like, oh yeah, this is fine.
Do you still do it when you get home?
We've moved house.
Yeah. Go back, find that jump. See how small
It's probably,
it is.
it's probably like, wow,
it's a
good
step.
Yeah. There's my story. How about
Cool.
How about you?
Good story.
What's a jump? What was the exact question?
Can you tell me about a time you jumped off something?
Yeah. Can you tell me about a time you jumped off something?
Yeah. One of the jumps I was thinking of, well, there's two jumps I guess I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Well, one's kind of a fall. There was one time.
What is a fall but a jump?
I feel like it was Cork, maybe it was County Cork, or I don't know. Anyway, there was this pier. I was on holidays with my family. I was pretty young, 8, who knows, 9.
Yeah.
And there was this pier, but there was like a ledge below. So at the side of the walkway, there was like a wall, and then there was just a little ledge below here.
Okay.
I thought we'd all seen the ledge as we walked out onto the pier, me and my family. So I went up, stood on the wall, and in a corny way, I said, "Goodbye, cruel world," and jumped off and then hid down on the ledge below, and they all freaked out like I just jumped into the sea.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And then there's another time, again on holidays when I was a kid, and this was up in Donegal, and we were climbing on...
Imagine if you actually did die in that moment. You're an 8-year-old kid. Goodbye,
Just-
cruel world.
Say goodbye, cruel world,
Like,
and then
because like
died.
you were obviously jumping to the ledge, but what if you fell and like actually fell into the ocean? Like wow, that's the
Well,
way.
I guess that's how that kid died.
That's
I
how
guess.
he felt. I
It
guess.
was so corny what he said before he died. It's so embarrassing.
Or anything. Would that'd be a very epic way to go, right? Goodbye, cruel world.
I guess.
Yeah, I suppose it's
I
corny,
guess
though.
it was. I don't know where I'd heard it in some film or
Yeah.
other. Goodbye, cruel. Or the Muppets show or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a wide ledge as well below. Like I only dropped down like 2 feet, and then there's this really wide ledge. I don't know. I don't know where that pier is, or why it was constructed like that.
I wonder, do we all have? Because as you tell that story, I feel I as you were saying it, I was like, God, I feel like I did some version of that when I was a kid.
Pretended to kill yourself.
Like as in no pills by the same. No, but some version of like seeing a ledge and like pretending to do that to my parents, like scaring them of like
Yeah.
that I've jumped somewhere. And also my mum, did we talk about
We've talked
Diana?
endlessly about your mother.
my mum was like, yeah, you told us, you came in the morning.
Oh, your mum remembers. So okay, so on the back to the Diana epic. So last time we were here, the
told
first
us-
time you were here, you told the story. Second time, you said you asked your mother and she refused to reply.
Yeah.
She hadn't replied. She,
But where were you? Yeah.
yeah.
But ultimately, my story is correct. I think my friend's story. What I'm trying to say here is, you're telling that story, and I'm like, do we all have very similar? Like, have we all had the same
Oh.
experiences?
Yeah.
Like, as in, because when you're telling that, I'm like, I bet you there's 1,000 people, or maybe 10, like, who had that experience. Like, yeah, there was a ledge, I jumped off, pretended to die in front of my parents. Is that
Right in, folks.
because, like, even my friend about his Diana story, I'm like, fuck. Okay.
And have you talked to your friend's mother?
No.
No. Sorry.
But I think that's a very common, right? Surely a whole bunch of people found out from their kids, you know. And I'm sorry, that's what because when you told that story, I was like, oh yeah, I have some version of that too.
Well, I think we're bad at like getting stories planted in our minds. Like humans are terrible eyewitnesses.
Do they all just like remember their own?
So they do this test where they show people this footage of a car accident.
Yeah.
I can't remember, or somebody breaking the law or something, and the car drives through a red light, right? But they ask a question in a kind of prompting way. So they say, when the blue car goes through the red light, did the pedestrian stop or did they keep walking? Something like that. Trick is, it was a red car that went through the light, but they were told that information without questioning it. You know, they're just told, okay, so when the blue car
Yeah.
goes through, and then from then on, people remember it as a blue car. And people, it seems like every time you remember something, you rewrite the memory, and that's the memory that you remember.
You're remembering like the last time that you remembered it.
Yeah, something like that. In a weird way. So many tissues are coming out of Colman's pockets now.
Isn't that? Yeah, I don't know. That's so fucking wild.
Yeah, so
I think of like makes me think of. Oh, sorry, go on.
I think like Neil deGrasse Tyson has talked about like doing jury service before, and he
Doing
said
what?
jury service,
Oh yeah.
and he said if the case is built entirely on witness testimony, then I could never find anybody guilty, because
That's a bit of a fucking stretch.
because
What if
human
you-
memory is so fallible.
But what if it's like, no, I saw him murder that guy. You're like,
Yeah, because human memory is so fallible. There's you know, the Unabomber.
yeah.
So the
Not personally.
okay, you've never met them. You've got to meet the Unabomber. You'd
Wait
love him.
until you meet-
You'd
you love him.
You'd love him. The Unabomber was this terrorist,
David
who,
Kowinski or something.
could be
Something Kowinski.
Kaczynski.
Kaczynski.
He was bombing. He was on this campaign for years of bombing.
Posted
various-
them, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
One time there was an eyewitness who saw him posting it. And so it was just in this small town. So the local police station got just a local artist, not a police sketch artist, to talk to the eyewitness and draw up a sketch of the Unabomber. But the FBI or the Central Police Department, whatever they were like, well, we can't just use a local artist one. So we'll send down our sketch person. And they did another sketch. And that's the sketch that went out of the Unabomber and was put everywhere. It was the actual proper sketch artist sketch. The problem was that drawing was a sketch of the local artist. The person had misremembered. The eyewitness, all they could remember now when thinking of the doing the sketch was the face of the artist who had done the first sketch. So they described they unwittingly described the first artist, and so they put this sketch out everywhere of the artist.
What?
Of the local artist. Yeah, because they had their memory had changed. Yeah, they conflated the two things. And so that was one. That's.
But surely, at some point, they were like, "Wait, that."
No, they were just like, "Yeah, this is what the Unabomber looks like." That was posted everywhere, but it wasn't helpful because it wasn't what the Unabomber looked like. Because memory is so fallible. Here's another. I'm full of them.
No, go on.
Here's another thing of like memory or. Do you know there's a Beatles song where you can clearly hear someone shouting "fucking hell"?
Okay. Which song? Or you just don't tell me? Hold on.
I'll tell you right now. I mean, you're thinking, well, God, I mustn't have heard that song. It's Hey Jude. It's one of their biggest songs. You can clearly hear John Lennon go, "fucking hell," halfway through the song. But you never hear it because I think music is actually just a reminder of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
You don't notice, or
because it's like it's bringing you back to when you first heard it, almost.
Yeah, and it's just a reminder of like, oh yeah, this is how Hey Jude goes. You don't take it apart every single time you listen to Hey Jude and notice. And probably the first time you heard Hey Jude, you couldn't imagine, you didn't know what fucking hell meant. You were a kid. And so it's just...
Hold on, can I play Hey Jude?
You can, well, that's going to take a long time.
And we'll have copyright issues.
I mean, we could. If you want, you can bring it up.
Can you play...
It'll just take a long time.
Are we allowed to play 3 seconds of
You
a
can
song?
play segment... Yeah, no one's going to sue us.
Hold on, let me...
It's somewhere in the middle. As long as we're talking over it, it's review, and so I think it's fine. And if the worst comes to the worst, it'll be a cease and desist, and we'll have to take this episode away or take that part of the episode away.
Well, look, we could just... But is this like the Mandela effect?
How do you mean? I mean, it is there. But I guess, yeah, the Mandela effect is the same. Is people conflating something and misremembering that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s. You might not be able to hear on those. No, it's before that. That's just the better now. What are you playing? Just to clip it from...
Oh,
did you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but to be fair, like it's not like, hey, fucking hell, Jude.
Sure, it's not the most clear. It's not the most present thing on the microphone, but it is clearly fucking hell. But you never hear anyway.
But and the Mandela effect is where you think things happened a certain way, and a
lot of people swear the same thing, that Nelson Mandela died, or that it was called the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears, whatever it was. I wasn't aware of that book.
I think sometimes, it's like a collective thought or a collective memory is something.
There's
Do you ever listen, like, Louis C.K., the comedian Louis C.K.?
I'm familiar with your favorite comedian Louis C.K., yeah.
Sometimes he expresses, or he does a bit on an idea that I'm like, because I was chatting about this to another comedian, I was like, I've had that idea, or I've had that thought, And I think that's what makes him so great is he expresses something that we've all collectively felt.
Yeah.
Like there's some things he's like, I remember he's on about, let's say during COVID, he's on about like, we all have great eyes. He's on about like how we all looked better with the masks. And I was like, I remember I had that thought. I was trying not to think, I had that. And I was like, oh, did we all have, but like that's his genius of like expressing something we've all kind of encountered and felt. Now we're just, but that's why I was like, oh, so when you were on about that thing, to me, this is all in the same pot of stuff of like, this is like a collective consciousness or something.
I would say possibly that is as well. Some of that can be that you will change your memories to be like, oh yeah, I thought that before. Like sometimes I do that when somebody tells me something fascinating, and then I'll be like, wow, that's amazing. And then half an hour later, I'll be like, I think I know that. I think I heard that before.
Well,
And then I'm like, I don't know if I heard that before or not.
for comedy, I keep notes and stuff, so I had that written down. But also,
Sure.
but,
Sure. Yeah. You've many of Louis C.K.'s ideas written down.
No, but like, no, sorry. This sounds like I'm trying to claim his ideas. No, but sorry. Maybe you're right. Maybe I didn't.
No, maybe you did.
But I just find when those moments, maybe that's the secret of it. Just like because when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, it feels like someone was speaking into my brain or something. Does that make sense? It's like, holy shit.
There's another experiment that they did where there's two. They bring people in. There's two ropes hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, you have to tie those two ropes together. But if you're holding on to one rope, you can't reach the other rope, right?
Okay.
So people puzzle about this for a while. They're like, how am I going to get these two ropes to tie them together? They like hold on and stretch as far as they can. They can't reach the other. They're both hanging vertically from the ceiling, right?
Two corners of the room.
Yeah, just like
If you held one
and pulled it across, you won't be able to reach the other one, right?
Okay. Can you somehow grab them both at the same time? Or
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. You could be like, hey, somebody help me. Or people are trying to figure it out.
If they were both pulled at the same time somehow, could they be tied?
You can tie them, obviously, yeah.
Okay.
So how does it happen, Colman? Well,
cool.
There's someone with a clipboard there, and they watch them for 5 minutes, and then what they do is they just pretend they just need to see something across the other side of the room, and as they're doing it, they knock into one of the ropes and it starts swinging a bit, and that gives the person the idea of like, I could swing that rope, and then it'll come closer to me as it swings. I grab the other rope. If I get one of the ropes swinging, then it will be at some points closer to me. So I can grab the other rope, reach, and grab it just as it swings.
Wait, that wouldn't have crossed their mind beforehand?
You didn't cross your mind, Coleman. It didn't cross your mind. But only when I said it, you're like, well, that's obvious. The thing is...
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe you would have come up with it. Most people don't until the person sets the thing swinging. And then afterwards, they say, how did you come up with the idea? They never put it down to, oh yeah, because they walked across the room and said, they're like, oh, I was thinking about a bridge and then that made me think of this and that. And the people make up the reasons for things after the fact to create a narrative for themselves.
There's a story of Christopher Columbus when he went to America and he came back and he was in Spain or Italy, where the fuck he was. Maybe it was Portugal. And
yeah.
It was Spain or Portugal.
Come here for your facts, folks, your history facts. Anyway, Columbus, the devil, he was off and he came back. And anyway.
But he's at a dinner and everyone at the table was saying like, I don't know where I heard this, but everyone at the table was saying, yeah, but what you did, that's obvious. You could just sail that way. And he goes, and he gave them, he had an egg.
Boiled egg. They all had boiled eggs.
Ah, yes, you've heard the story as well.
I've heard the story, yeah.
And he was like, balance that egg. And they all tried and failed. And he just smashed the egg down. They're like, yeah, that's obvious. Like, it's obvious once I show you.
Yeah. Yeah. Story, well, Columbus, it should be said, did it because he was a bit thick. He, everybody knew the world was round. But they just realized, everybody knew that the world was bigger than Columbus thought. He was like, it's only a short while to India. And everyone else was like, the world is huge. You're going to die out there. So that's why they didn't go around that way. Because they didn't realize that America was there.
They were just like, you'll keep, it's so much ocean.
Yeah, so much ocean. Or we don't know what's out there. But he thought the world was smaller than it is. So he was like, it's a doddle. It's just over there. I'll just head out and I'll get to India.
Actually, you know what? Because I'm convinced I'm convinced if I did that experiment, I would have solved that. I'm also this, but the thing is, everything I say proves your point, and that's what's frustrating me as I'm speaking. I'm like, shit, everything I'm going to say is going to prove, but I'm like, I can't. I was like, I thought of swinging before you said it, but like, I'm like, did I?
You didn't say it.
Did I? I didn't say it.
Yeah.
It's like when you're watching, but how that felt is like how you're watching a film and you're like, ah, they did it. And at the end, when they did it, you're like, I knew they did it. You never said, you're like, but I fucking, damn it.
Yeah. Well, people will delete a lot of things as well. Like, people will say, like, it's a raffle and they had one of the tickets and they're like, I knew it was going to be me. I knew I was going to get it. But sometimes you think, oh, it's going to be me, and then it's not you, and you're like,
And you forget about it.
delete that. That's not important.
Yeah, I'll delete those files.
Yeah.
But okay, I would challenge anyone who's watching this and like say that swinging rope thing to someone and like, how about this?
Mhm.
After you say the 2 ropes, ask the person, how would you resolve it? Because then be curious to see. Anyway.
Okay. See if your friends are smarter than Colman and if they can figure it out for themselves.
I was never given an opportunity to.
I think you were. Colman, what is your question this week?
Wait. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, we're doing your question
Oh,
too.
yeah. Wait, did we? Oh, yeah, that's where that conversation went.
Yeah.
What's a movie? I forgot that we asked your question. Yeah. What's a movie you watch at least?
Memory is so fallible, Colman. This is what we're getting at.
What's a movie you watch at least once a year and why?
There's no film that I watch at least once a year.
There's no film.
No. So what's the film that I've watched the most
Jesus.
often?
Is there a TV show you watch?
The West Wing. Yeah, once every like 5 years probably.
You'll burn through the whole series, all of them.
Yeah, maybe. I probably watched it 4 times, maybe 5 times.
To you,
Since
that's the greatest TV show of all time.
It's certainly one that's worth watching again, yeah. Early Doors. I'll watch that.
Early Doors?
Fairly often. It's a sitcom.
Oh, you were telling me.
Yeah, yeah. And there's like, episodes of the Seinfeld and stuff.
There's no film you watch every year.
No. There's a film that you watch every year.
Yeah.
What?
There's when I text people, there was people who gave me answers.
Yeah, maybe.
So for me, I feel like I'd probably end up watching some Harry Potters in the lead up to Christmas, which was great marketing.
Because you love Harry Potter. Spoiler, we can't go into it because something's going to come out where Colm's going to talk about Harry Potter. We cannot go into it now because it will be a spoiler. Okay.
But no, but the film that I think of that I watch at least once a year is actually Bridge of Spies.
Bridge of Spies.
Tom Hanks and what's that British actor's name? He's fantastic in it. He's also in Dunkirk.
Yeah.
And the BFG.
Yeah, yeah. That dude. Yeah.
That film I watch once a year and I love it. I love it. I love it every time I watch it.
Wow. No, I think I would. No, I would just be bored. Probably one of the films I watch the most is Die Hard, but maybe I watched
The first one.
Yeah. Maybe I watched it 5 times. But there's a lot of great stuff in that film. A lot of great lines. Have you seen Die Hard?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
It's a good film.
it's a very good film.
It's a very good film. You're just a common thief. I am not a brilliant thief. Whatever he says. Anything else that I would watch? I've watched a few times. I often find it, or I used to find it disappointing to watch things again.
But let me bring it back to West Wing then. Why? Because part of the question was the why. Why have you watched that multiple times, or even why? Actually, or Die Hard. Why have you watched Die Hard multiple times?
I think the last time I watched it was because Shiva was living with me and she'd never seen it, and maybe it was Christmas or something.
She'd never seen Die Hard.
Yeah. Well, she's a lot younger than me, so she didn't.
No way. What did she think of it?
She thought it was great. It's a great film. I think she hadn't seen it. I mean, there's lots of films
Now
that I haven't
have a
seen.
gun. Ho. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. That's just what he says when he starts the thing.
I
Yeah,
read them
so
in
quotable.
Time magazine.
Yeah, so quotable. Um,
What a great name for
Oh,
a
yeah,
film. Die Hard.
yeah.
Such a male. Die Hard. Yeah.
But also, isn't that common an expression, like a die-hard liberal or a die-hard thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly, when
diehards.
the first time I watched Die Hard, I wasn't familiar on the play on words that it was. You know,
Yeah.
it was just like, it's called Die Hard. Okay,
Yeah.
heard about
Yeah.
it as a kid. Probably my friend Aoife thought it was called Die Hard. Haven't seen Die Hard. You should. It's good. Yeah, The West Wing. I guess I like the characters a lot, and they are almost like, yeah, just very familiar, like Friends or something. Not
Yeah.
the TV show, but like here are my compatriots, and we go into battle together.
Who's your favorite? Or do you like them all?
I guess I like them all. Yeah, I wouldn't really have a particular favorite. Yeah, it's more like maybe just the general ethos or something. Here's one thing actually that I look for in a TV show, and there's lots of really popular, really successful TV shows that don't give it to me, and I just don't watch them. I really like a show where there's good but flawed people trying to achieve something. And there's a lot of shows these days, and someone was talking about it. I think the guy who did Breaking Bad was saying, like, we just need to stop with the anti-heroes because it's changing our mental state and the political environment that we have of all these shows of just horrible people. Yeah, I generally don't enjoy the horrible people shows. So
You didn't like Sopranos then?
I didn't really get into Sopranos. No. Breaking Bad, Mad Men, particularly, Succession, and like, I think I watched an episode of, what's the holiday show?
Holiday show.
They're all rich people on holidays. It's on at the moment, and it's very popular. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
The White Lotus.
The White Lotus. I watched an episode of that before anybody had seen it, and was like, nah, nothing compelled me in that. And then everybody's talking about it, and I'm like, the more you talk about it, the less I want to see it. And it's just like, and here's the thing. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just never going to do it for me.
Yeah.
There's a thing I think about a friend of ours, Stephen, who I was chatting to him about horror films one time because I don't really get horror films, and I was like, "But aren't you scared?" And he was like, "Yeah, but you get like a scare, but then there's a kind of warm, there's a fuzzy, warm feeling or something comes after the scare." And I was like, "Oh, I don't get that. That's why I never enjoy those films. I don't get that. It's to me, it's the ASMR. You know, ASMR.
Yeah.
People have this auto-sensory motive response, whatever it is, that some people have it and some people don't, to like these whispering sounds. And some people get this fuzzy feeling in their brain and some people don't. I just don't get that from horror. So I'm never going to, and then, so I'm like, oh yeah, so I just don't need to watch horror films anymore. And then I was thinking like, oh yeah, I don't get whatever ping
scratches your brain, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever the ping is that people get from watching TV shows about horrible people being miserable. I don't get it. And so I just don't watch those shows anymore.
White Lotus, I really enjoyed season 2 of White Lotus. But yeah, I'm trying to think of, do you know what, because you named a few shows there, like Succession, I watched because everyone was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did enjoy it. But I feel like, some things I liked, and it's only in hindsight, I'm like, did I really enjoy it? Like, Father Ted?
I'm familiar with Father Ted, yeah.
Do you know this big cultural... Sometimes I watch that back and I'm like, I don't know if I actually find this funny.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not because you've seen it before and you already know the jokes.
I don't know. There's sometimes.
I watched Father Ted with my Austrian housemate, who is, I don't know what she was probably 26 at the time, and from Austria. And I was like, will she enjoy it? And now she enjoys comedy shows a lot. But she really enjoyed it. I was like, that's great to see that somebody from a different country, totally different age, can still enjoy Father Ted.
I know, but and then Father Ted, there's a whole bunch of shows that I feel like people watched, and I was like, I watched. I think when I was,
You watch it just because everyone else was watching it.
yeah, and then I don't necessarily think like Succession wasn't like one of the greatest TV shows of all time. I thought it was very like it was fun and entertaining, but I'm like, I would happily have not watched it. Same with White Lotus. Season 2 of White Lotus I thought was actually genuinely, truly captivating. I loved the second season of White Lotus. I was like, oh my God, I'm having so much fun watching this.
Jesse Armstrong, who is behind
Succession.
I once sent him an email out of the blue
Oh yeah.
with a script of mine and said, and this was like peep show days, so he wasn't doing Succession yet, and said, I just, what do you think of this? It was like a spec script for 30 Rock.
Yeah.
And I was trying to send it out to a few people that I liked and liked their stuff, just to try and make connections or try and find a way into the business. And he sent me an email back saying, really funny script, well done. Do you have an agent? I said, yeah. And then I think that was the end of our contact with each other. Yeah, which is very nice. Really nice of him to reply and stuff. But I'm also like, I should have kept that going now. I could be right for Succession. I should be.
Why the fuck did you not like?
I don't know. There was nothing else to say, really.
Hey,
Apart
can I
from
have a
thanks
job?
maybe I should have said more. Maybe I should be like, I don't know. Hey, man, let's meet up for coffee or something. But yeah, you don't feel entitled to this or those kinds of things.
Yeah. We still rolling?
Oh, we're rolling.
Yeah, no, if there's a question for maybe another day. What things in the cultural zeitgeist do you actually not enjoy, but claimed to have?
Oh, yeah, I don't think there's any. I think
do.
that's the question. I'll tell you the answer now. I don't think you do.
There's tons of things where I'm like, yeah, that's great. I'll watch it, and it's only hindsight. I'm like, I didn't really enjoy that. It didn't really tickle me.
Yeah, I'm known as a misery guts anyway, so I don't.
But at least you can always hold your like.
If I said I enjoyed it, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, there's things I say I enjoyed, and like you should really just ask me 8 months later. Did you actually like that? I'm like, no, I didn't.
I was just trying to fit in. I was just trying to fit in.
Should have fit in. I wanted friends. They were all enjoying it.
Yeah.
In a private, probably one-to-one conversation, I might be like, if it was a group setting, I'd be like, I'll just go along with whatever it's saying. Like, I would have been terrible.
Yeah, no, I will absolutely. And I can't let people get away with me not telling them that I didn't enjoy it.
So you'd be like,
Well, everyone's chatting and just being like, and nobody's asking me, ask me what I thought of it, so I can tell you that I thought it was shite, and I'll tell you exactly why, which isn't nice to be around. Colman, what do you think of those questions?
I thought the first one sparked an interesting conversation about memory.
Yeah, it did.
The second one,
Interesting that I didn't really have an answer for you. I mean, I guess we had chat about different things, but
yeah.
it's funny that some people will watch the same films over and over. And
Oh no, I was on about your first question about like something you jumped off.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought we were on
Wait.
to the second question.
Oh, sorry. You asked what did I think of those questions?
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked your question.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I like both questions, but I think
What's going wrong here?
have I misinterpreted?
I don't know.
But
we'll both watch this back now and be like, oh, that's why we were confused.
I really like those questions. What did you think of those questions?
Yeah, good. What I already said. No, I thought they were good. Yeah, I think I wasn't sure if everyone would have an answer to, is there something you've jumped off? But I was like, there must be something you've jumped off. And I'm glad you had an answer to it.
I think everyone would have. I feel like
because it's going to stick in your memory, because it is a metaphorical jump. Like,
it could be physical, it could be metaphorical. Could be
well, because taking a big leap is a metaphor that we use. An actual physical leap will be something that will stick in your memory, because it was like yours is like, I didn't know if I was going to do it, and then eventually I did it.
Yeah. I'd like if people ask each other these questions, to get their answers, and also when you're emailing us, you should put as the subject heading what the question is, just so we know.
Sure.
But I would love to hear the reasons why people love certain movies. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because
tell us what films you watch over and over and why.
and why. The why to me is as important as because I got people's answer. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, let's go into people's answers. I guess something for me as well in the West Wing, it almost becomes like a legend that's told over and over. I know how it ends. I know how these stories end. And so I guess there's something
comforting
and yeah, I almost know what emotions it's going to... I probably react more emotionally to the episodes the second time I watch them. Anyway, What answers do you have there?
So I have from... Will I say from who? No, maybe I won't.
So say the first name if you like, or you don't have to.
First name is Michael. And there probably isn't a film I watch yearly, but it used to be Die Hard. It's a perfect movie, incredibly quotable, and just the right amount of Christmas in it. Second to that is When Harry Met Sally.
Just the right amount of Christmas.
Second to that is When Harry Met Sally. It's a perfect comfort movie. It's a great watch every autumn. Rom-coms and action movies are my comfort genres, and these are the best of each, in my opinion. I have a few more answers here. I don't watch many films and rarely repeat watch any. Very strong opening. But flicks I've watched a few times, only a few. Godfather 1 and 2, Big Lebowski, High Fidelity. Watch them because the writing is...
So actually most people are agreeing with me so far. That they don't watch any film over and over every year.
And then this person goes off, watch them because the writing is stellar, which is fair enough. I'm much more into story than special effects. Not a fan of Marvel.
All right, dude.
Okay.
Wasn't what I asked you.
And then I have, I watched the cult gay classic, The First Wives Club. It's me and my best friend's movie. And I watch The Preacher's Wife every Christmas and observe how on cocaine Whitney Houston was the entire time.
Every Christmas, let's celebrate by watching how much cocaine Whitney Houston was
The
doing.
First Wives Club, I remember watching when I was young. That is a really fun film.
Is it? I've never seen it.
It's Bette Midler, Diane Keaton, and Goldie Hawn.
Right.
They all find out that their husbands... It's just a fun time. They all find out that their husbands have cheated on them, or at least two of the three find out their husbands are cheating on them. So they create a club in New York. They're all rich. All their husbands are rich. Of course. And they create like a club called the First Wives Club.
I could have guessed that.
But it's a really fun film. Or at least I saw it like when I was somewhere between the ages of 8 and 12, and it was just a fun time.
Yeah.
Like it's you know what I mean? There's no it's yeah. I know. This one is someone's like, good question. This person said, good question.
Good to get that in there.
I tend to rewatch multiple films.
Wow.
One I choose is Indochine or Indochine. Indochine. 1992. What did you say? Indochine.
Indochine. Shaka Khan.
Because it's about probably because of the cinematography being shot on location in Vietnam. The story really encapsulates the tragedy that is the French colonial presence in Vietnam. So Indochine.
Fun. So Indochina,
but it's called Indochine.
Yeah.
And then someone just Harry.
I guess you got to watch the film to find out why it's called Indochine.
And then there really isn't one that I choose to consciously watch yearly. But if I had to pick either Love Actually, as it's on during Christmas, or maybe Zero Dark 30, because I think Jessica Chastain is epic in it, and she is, to be fair. And then Harry Potter movies leading up to Christmas. Those are my answers.
You're watching Zero Dark 30 every year. Jesus.
That is a quality film. And
it's grand.
Oh,
but
Jessica
watching
Chastain,
it every year.
That scene.
I just want to watch Osama bin Laden be killed again. Every single fight. I just want to watch a whole bunch of
9/11
torture scenes over and over again. Yeah, that really gets me in the Christmas mood.
There is. Do you see the one with Adam Driver where it's about the documents, where like he's reviewing the documents about like is it the case against Osama bin Laden or whatever? And they were saying that film, Zero Dark 30, gave the false impression that torture gave viable information. That was one of the things that they said. They're like, it's just horseshit. But as a film, Zero Dark 30, like that scene where she rounds your man Kyle Chandler,
could be,
and her like she's like, oh, she's like fucking spitting fire at him. That's that's
Every time I see the name of that film, I think in my head, not because it's actually a bad film, but just
Zero Dark 30.
No, I think it's a good film, but in my head, I just think Zero Dork 30 more like, just because it fits.
Zero Dark Dork.
Okay, well, I thought we'd get a laugh, but apparently not. Okay, my question was, can you tell me about a time that you jumped off something? Ashley says, I went paragliding with a Turkish man who didn't speak English and called me Ashka. He kept spinning the parachute and I was getting motion sick, trying to tell him to stop because you couldn't communicate with the poor guy. As we landed on a beach, I puked all over him and the beachgoers below. I guess the thing we jumped from was a cliff edge, to be more specific to your question. Yeah, so Ashley
Nice.
vomited on everybody from a parachute. Sean said, sorry man, no jump stories from this guy. And then later when I said, it doesn't have to be like a great big thing, he said, years ago, I jumped off a lifeguard stand drunk at night and had no idea where the ground was, only to faceplant completely. There were other people there, so I played it cool.
Nice.
And then this is a long one from Mikey. When I went tubing in Laos as an idiot 25-year-old, the setup was you float on a tube down a river and you'd stop at all these bars that looked like tree houses. They'd give you free drinks and they'd each have a giant tower with a rope swing at the top manned by children. When I arrived to the town, there were so many people on crutches. I swore I wouldn't go on any of the swings. Anyway, 5 drinks later, I found myself at the top of a wobbling 2-story tower with a queue of people on behind me. So the two girls in front of me wanted to go together. They were in an uneven pairing. They were going on the count of 3. The lighter of the two held onto the rope. The other girl dropped straight down into the shallow river below. She had to be fished out and brought to shore. She was okay, nothing broken, but a lot of bruising. All this took about 5 minutes. I had to wait at the top. Of the jump/swing. The kid in charge pointed to most of the river. So while he was waiting, he had to wait. So I had to wait at the top of the tower. I wasn't able to climb back down. He tried because everyone was queuing behind him. So he just had to do it. Just before I went to jump/swing, the little kid in charge pointed to most of the river and said, "Don't land there, rocks." and then pointed to a small area and said, "Land there." I just hung on to the rope until it stopped swinging and eventually let go with a huge audience. Anyway, I'm alive. 3 people died that week and tubing was since been banned.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
It's a pretty good story. So if you have any answers to those stories, send them to markandcoleman@gmail.com. And if you want to ask somebody else for an answer to that question,
and leave us know the answers you get, whether they sparked interesting conversation.
And we will read them out eventually. I know so far we haven't read out any, but we're just kind of we're doing a kind of setup of episodes, so the episodes will start coming out, and then we will read these. Do send them in, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Very much.